Hello, apa kabar? Welcome again to the third installment of HR for school leavers and for graduates. The first program that we did a while back was on selecting jobs, capitalizing on your opportunities, figuring out which opportunity is good for you. The second one was on building confidence, and the third one, which is this one, is on facing interviews. What I'm going to speak next will have a relationship with the previous two programs, so it's important for you to catch up on those programs. I may repeat one or two points so that there is some relevance to what I'm speaking right now. So today I'm here to discuss 5 points. The first one is the definition of an interview. As far as a school leaver or a graduate is concerned, an interview is an opportunity for the company to get to know you and for you to get to know the company. If you are selected for an interview, you would be getting a formal invite, maybe an email or maybe a WhatsApp or maybe a phone call asking you to come at this particular time on this particular day to this location. That's where you have to come for the interview. When you come for an interview, it's important that you don't arrive on time, but you arrive 30 minutes before. For an example, if someone tells you your interview is at 9 a.m., you have to be at that location at least half an hour early. This is important for you to relax. This is important for you to gather your thoughts. And this is also important for you to understand the atmosphere of the company. What kind of a location is it? What kind of a building is it? You can ask information from the security guard or the reception. Any information that could be valuable, you can talk to them when you're free. This will help you relax. Do not get nervous at an interview, because when you get nervous at an interview, that would cloud your judgment, that would cloud your thought process, affecting how you can talk. The other part of the interview is people have to realize that when you go for an interview, it is an opportunity for you to ask questions as well. It is important for you to know what the job is, what the working hours are, what kind of opportunity are they talking about, what the salary is, and then how does it build your career. Point number 2, what to expect. The interviews can be face to face. If they give you a location, that's where you arrive at the premises very early. If it's an online interview, let's say if it's a location that is far away, if the interviewer is in Bali and you are in Jakarta, most likely they would have an online interview. Sometimes they may ask you to go there. Either way, an online interview is something they would do on Microsoft Teams, Zoom, Google Meet, or any other online application. You need to test these applications. Ask them if it's an online interview. Are we doing it online? Is it a WhatsApp call or is it on Microsoft Teams? Download that software onto your computer or to your phone and test it, because you need to understand how it works, what you need to do. It's better to avoid last moment challenges when you use online applications, so that you don't struggle, because this can be a distraction to you. So they will ask you, again, going back to the other point, they will ask you questions about what kind of a person you are. They will have behavioral tests. They will have cognitive tests, like an IQ test, trying to understand your level of quick thinking, your level of intellect. They will have competency tests, trying to understand whether you have that required level of knowledge for them to hire you as a person. So these would be matching you to the job that is there with them. So when you go for an interview, remember, relax, think of positive thoughts, think of the happiest moment in your life, because the more positive you are, the better you answer the questions. And always smile and sit proper. Do not sit slouch, sit proper. On the earlier video, I've spoken about how you sit and how you talk. You don't have to be too formal, but you have to be relaxed. You're there to impress them with their knowledge. And this goes both to school leavers, experienced people, and for graduates as well. You are there to impress. Questions you should ask. At an interview, people think that it's the company that asks you all kinds of questions for you to answer and get a job. You have a right to answer those questions to the best of your ability. If you don't know the answer, please tell them that, let me think about it and I'll come back to you. Please come up with the next question. Because at that moment, I can understand that some of you may be nervous, but you need to know how to handle that situation. That doesn't mean that the interviewer will think of you negatively. That will give them an impression that if you cannot answer right now, you are able to handle the situation without panicking. So that is very, very important. Going back to what I said earlier, the questions that you can ask, please ask about what kind of a job is it? Can you tell me more about the role I'm expected to perform? Can you tell me how many people are there in my team? Can you tell me if I am supposed to travel? What are the working hours? The last question you should ask is, how much am I getting paid? The reason why I say that is, as a school leaver and as a graduate, it's important that the company understands that you're here to get experience, learn something, get something better. So that's very important, unless they tell you at the very beginning, this is how much you get paid or this is what it is. But leave that question to the last. When you go in, introduce yourself. You can tell them your name and then ask them for their name. You can tell them what your name is, but tell your full name, that your name is Rifki Muhammad. May I know your name and your title, sir? You can ask them directly. That shows confidence. Point number 3, how to prepare for an interview. Research about the company that you're going in for. Try to see it on LinkedIn, try to see it on the internet, read through the products, the services, what kind of a business they offer, how long they have been in business. You can write these down. There is no issue in you taking a book to an interview with your notes on it. This will tell the interviewer that you are very organized, you have the information. You can even write down the question that you're going to ask. If it's a panel interview, a lot of people will be asking these questions. Write those questions, so refer to your book actually. And then figure out whether if you have anything prepared, then you can answer. If they ask you, why do you have a book with the answers prepared? You can tell them, look, I always like to prepare for what I want to do, for what I come into. This is the way I work. This is my work ethic. And that shows a greater impression about yourself. Not many people have this skill. So I encourage you to make notes about the company that you're going in for. Try to understand the services, how long they have been working. This information is important, and rehearse, practice. It's very important. Talk to them about your aspirations. Talk to them about the responsibilities you did in school. Sometimes an interviewer will ask you a question that could throw you off, that could shake your confidence. They could ask you questions like, how many years of experience do you have? Knowing very well that you are a student or you just left university, you just graduated. When they ask you questions like that, you have to be smart with your answer. You have to tell them, you can tell them things like this. You can tell them, in university I did these projects, that's the experience I have. Or in school I did these extracurricular activities, that's the experience I have. If you don't, you can tell them, I am here to gain experience from you, which I think is one of the best companies, and I think that you would really contribute to my career, while at the same time I can add value to your organization based on what I learn from you every day. That would be a very good answer to give. The fourth one, when answering questions, I think I've touched on this earlier, relax. The moment they ask you a question, don't snap and then answer it immediately. When they ask you a question like, have you traveled outside of Indonesia? Don't jump and say, no sir, I haven't traveled. Don't do that. Relax. I am willing to travel outside of Indonesia if the job requires me to do so. Those questions are very important. That also tells them that you haven't traveled yet, but then you're open to travel. So the positivity on your answers is very, very important. If you don't know something, you can tell them, sir, this is new knowledge for me. I am open to learn. Could you tell me more about the trainings that you provide? That is turning the questions onto them. But that approach, be very careful with it. How you word it matters. Some interviewers may not like that approach, but then you have the right to say so, but say it politely and professionally. Leaving an impression, that's the fifth one. Leaving an impression means once the interview is over, you have to make sure that the company and the interviewers, they understand you as a candidate that is, this guy is very interesting, or this girl is very interesting. Makes them think about the person. So all what I've said before, how you answer, how you the replies that you give if you don't know, the replies that you give if you haven't done something in the past that is relevant to them, that matters. Companies do not hire people who are nice to have. They hire people who can perform and who can get the job done. So I know it's important to be nice, but remember, they don't look for the nice person. They look for the person who can get the job done. That is very, very important. Thank you very much, and I hope that this video will help you take the next step, will help you face more interviews. One more point I need to add. You need to face many interviews as much as you can and gain experience in facing interviews. The first interview may be scary. I have put my LinkedIn address on the details below. You can always reach out to me on LinkedIn. Remember, we can always advise you to do better. So the more interviews you get, you may not pass all of them, and if you do pass them on the first go, great. But always expect that some companies take time, some companies would go for a better candidate, and you need to have that confidence in you that just because 5 interviews didn't work out, the 6th one may not work out. Do not think like that. You have to keep facing interviews. If you are facing interviews, which means somebody is interested in you. Thank you very much for your time, and please like, subscribe and share. Good luck. Semangat.